Hi, thanks for joining us today. I've got more tips for nonprofit leaders from Mike Rohan, president of Rohan Business Group. Mike, every nonprofit wants to be seen because when you're seen, you're known about. Tell me about the visibility. How do nonprofits become and stay visible with their market?
You know, this time now more than ever, a lot of people feel like we got to get our story out. It'll help bring in resources, more volunteers, connections for support from corporations, etc. And the issue can resolve or revolve around four different things. First, who do you want to reach? I mean, when people say we've got to get the word out, you've got to be more specific. You don't have the money to run TV spots on the local television station or radio station or billboards or whatever. So who do you want to reach? And that can be doing some analysis of who has contributed to your organization in the past, who are likely segments that you can reach and make connections with. But that focus on who's your target is a very important step. Secondly, don't do what everybody else is doing. We've all been there. You've been doing events that have worked in the past, and maybe some of them still do, so you shouldn't throw the baby out with the bathwater. But bottom line, don't do what everybody else is doing. Your specific mission and the message should be tied into events, to initiatives that you do, to connections that you use to build relationships and get people interested in you and aware of you. You've got to do this more in a long-term basis. And that brings us to the third point. Recognize that times have changed. People want to be engaged, not just write you a check. Part of it is that some of the audiences, some of the targets want to know what's going to happen with my money or what's going to happen with my time that I invest. What are the results? So building relationships is very important, but also always remembering how can I show what we're doing, what value we're providing. And that's the last point, that nowadays to become more visible is not enough. It's what value are you providing with your mission, either for the community or for a group that can't help themselves but need your help desperately, and you're doing this for others. So that value piece is real important now, and that's what everybody should focus on.
I think that's great. Thank you so much. I wanted to ask you a little bit though. You mentioned earlier in our interview and tips about the mission and their story. A nonprofit has a story. What is so important about their story?
I think, maybe more than anything else, people listen to stories. That's how you communicate. You can see speakers, they don't just sort of talk at you. They don't say, here's what our program is and how great it is, etc. You've got to tell stories. So now, to differentiate your not-for-profit from other not-for-profits, stories are important. Successes, what you did, tap into the emotion. All of those are very wrapped up in how you market your not-for-profit and getting visible and having it stick, having people think of your not-for-profit versus another one.
Great tip, Mike. Thanks for joining us.